So obviously this is not concrete and I want it to be concrete. What we just did was added a rim board around the outside, which is what we're going to bring the level of the concrete up to, which ties into the level of the current slab. What we did before we started off camera, obviously, was dig out around the outside. When the tractor gets here, I might try to scoop this out some more so I can get a base course of some gravel. Ideally, before slab, you want at least a 4-inch base course that's compacted. I don't have a compactor, so I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I definitely want to get some gravel down. And even if it's not 4 inches, which I don't think it's going to be, should be fine, because whoever poured this before, the current slab in the rest of the shop doesn't have any base course on it. They poured it right on the dirt, which, I mean, is what it is. I'm not going to crack it up and put base course under it. And horses have been here, so this is already pretty compacted. But still, I want to make sure I have an even thickness. So the idea is the gravel will come up to the bottom of these boards. That'll give me a 3.5-inch slab, thickness of a 2x4. Ideally, I like to go 4, but that keeps it simple. And that's what we're going to do. All right, so we got the base course in, using the tractor to get that rock in here, and then even having to spread it by hand, way easier than digging it all out with a shovel. To get this graded, I've got this long board that would span the distance, and that would, give me what the surface level of the concrete's gonna be. Then I could use a tape measure to check it. I thought I'd time-lapse that, but apparently I didn't hit record, so sorry. Pretty simple process, then just use the rake and rake and rake and rake and rake. And then stop and rake some more and look and rake some more. But anyway, pretty happy with it now. Next is gonna be laying out the rebar. Not gonna put it on the chairs yet because the spray foam guys be back in a few days to hopefully finish, and they need to do some ladder work, so I don't want that raised up to be a big trip hazard. So we'll do that right before we mix and pour the concrete. Well, glad to have that done. It's actually kind of satisfying spinning all those ties. Would have been more satisfying if it wasn't so much bending over. My back does not like me right now. But anyway, once the chairs come in, I can raise this up and we can get all the concrete mixed. I've got a small mixer, and in retrospect, I probably should have just taken planned the time to go rent a larger mixer, because with a larger mixer, I could do all this in about 10 mixes. It's going to take us about 30 mixes with the mixer I have. But that's all been driven by the constant changes in the spray foam timeline, which will be covered in the spray foam video, which might already be out or might come out after this. I don't know. It depends on whenever it gets done. I have no idea when it's going to get done. So anyway, in your time, let's pour. So we got all the little rebar chairs in place to elevate this to ideally the middle of the slab. I had ordered these off Amazon because no one local had them. They all had like really big ones for like 6-7 inch slabs. This is supposed to be 1.5 inches. I don't think it is. I didn't measure it, but I'm very familiar with what 1.5 inches is, and this is definitely not it. We tried to double them up, that didn't quite do it. So the rebar is going to be a little low. It is nonetheless over the rock, and ultimately, I mean, this slab is never going to be like super tested as far as the loads I'm going to put on it. So we're just going to roll with it as is. Time to start mixing. We've got a ton of concrete. Did get a little mixer, so time to do it. So one of the things that got missed, we put all the rebar on those little chairs to elevate it. However, they were sinking as we was working and the guys were walking on it. It sunk. The time lapse died before we could see this, but I noticed that all the concrete was going on top of the rebar and it was just sinking. So what we did about halfway through is we lifted up the rebar, was able to pull it and get it sitting on top of the concrete, and that got it right about in the middle of the slab. So the rebar can and will do its job now. All right, this is the first time I've sat down in like 10 hours. I don't know, it's 6:30, about 10:30 we started. I guess that's, I don't know, whatever. It's done. Sorry I didn't get more footage of the floating and sweeping it to add the texture. Guys had to leave a few hours ago. Wouldn't have been able to do this in a day without them. So idea was I had 4 pallets, 200 bags of quikrete. Started at one end, offloaded the pallet, then just moved it down. Apparently the battery died on the camera way earlier than I thought, so sorry that time lapse didn't go good, but it's all more the same thing, just water in the bucket, 3 bags. So that's a 3.5 cubic foot mixer. So I was thinking that was the mixing capacity, not the size, but that was the size of the container. Obviously you need room for it to turn. So turned out I could do 1.5, so about 3 bags, which is 1.5 cubic feet about, was the right place for mixing that. And then we did it over and over again a whole lot of times to get through 200 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They sent us 7 bags that were already pretty hard. They were on the bottom of pallets, so some moisture got to them or whatever, and they just weren't very good. So 193 bags. Definitely could have used probably about 4 more of those that were good, just because there are a few low spots, but this is going to be okay. I mean, the works should have some really awesome flooring coming in to go over this. It's going to make all that not an issue anyways. But yeah, so got it all dumped, used the placer, and we got it as level as we could, then started floating it. As I floated it, I was better able to tell high spots and low spots. So then using the shovel and the placer, just tried to move from the high to the low. It's not perfect, so whoever ends up working in the shop is probably gonna end up cussing me for not making them a flatter floor, but I mean, sucks to be that guy. Anyway, this is where it is. Just misted it down with some water, so off camera I'll get some plastic on it in just a little bit. And I mean, that's kind of it. I guess this is the video. probably wait till I can get some shots of it like hard, but you know, you add water, you mix it, you dump it, it gets hard and it cracks. That's concrete. I've already had to answer the question, so I know it's going to come up a bunch. Why didn't you just have a ready mix truck come and do it? Well, a couple reasons. Main one being ready mix trucks normally only have 12 to 16 feet of chute. I'm not going to let a ready mix truck drive in this building because best I can tell, the slab that's already here was not put on a base course. It was poured right on grade. So I don't even know if they did mesh or rebar or anything or how strong this is. So bringing in a truck that weighs upwards of 70,000 pounds, not going to happen. So he'd have to be outside the door. From the center of the door over to here is like it just wouldn't quite make it, which means it would have cost more because I would have had to bring a pump truck in. Doing it myself, we did save a little bit of money. Another thing was I was able to do it on my time at a convenient day. It's raining. We're actually in the middle of working on the walling, but since it's raining and all that stuff's outside, that shut us down. So I was able to just jump in here and get this done since it was ready. And you know, this is You Can Make This Too. I have a lot of fancy tools. I'm very blessed with my tools in my shop and being able to come here, but I definitely want to stick with the idea and mantra and showing everybody that, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. If you got something you want to get done, if you're willing to learn what you need to learn, put in the time, put in the work, you can do it. Yeah, pouring 3 yards of concrete with, you know, a tiny mixer. You know, the guys helped me with some of it, but I did almost all the mixing. So I loaded 11,000 pounds of concrete into that mixer over 4 hours, 60 pounds at a time. And I feel it, but I have a slab. So, you know, if you can rent a mixer or borrow a mixer, please, if you're gonna do anything this size, get a bigger one than I have. But yeah, if there's something you wanna do, just figure out what you gotta do to make it happen and make it happen. So that's what this is about. Super thanks to my channel sponsors and all my Patreons for making this happen. Specifically, my channel sponsors, Merca, Total Boat, Rockler, and Penguin CNC. I mean, they're a big reason, and my Patreon, you guys are all a big reason why I'm finally getting out of that garage shop and working in my driveway to a place that's suitable. Thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying this series. This is video, I don't know which of I don't know how many, but it's coming along. We're getting there. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something, were inspired, or at least entertained. And until next time, make time to make something. My sponsors, Total Boat, Penguin CNC, Rockler, and I forgot one. I know there's 4. Merca. I forgot Merca. Okay, I'm gonna do that after again.